Well, UFC Charlotte is done. Main event was Jailton Almeida versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. And we knew if Rozenstruik could keep the distance and be able to stand in that kickboxing stance that he does and pick his shots, typically a slow guy anyways, very methodical, sometimes to a detriment. He does very well in that. In this fight, he stuffs the takedown immediately. But then Almeida switches it up, gets a different takedown, gets him right down. And you see Rozenstruik had definitely been trained and shown, they had definitely gone through some drills and stuff not to try to explode and give bad positions. But then he makes the bad decision of, like DC was talking about, giving up the mount, but then trying to figure out, do I want him on top of me, like on mount, or do I want him to give my back up? Probably, obviously, should have stayed with him on top of him. Yeah, he's gonna get beat up. He's gonna get punched. But going belly down like he did, or just rolling over and getting rear naked choked and waiting, he looked for a hand for a minute and then tapped. I just don't understand the decisions there. But again, this is not a surprise. This is not a shock. That's exactly what Almeida should have done. Not waste time, not stood on the outside, maybe tried to box him a little bit. No, that's ridiculous. Almeida fought exactly how we thought he should have. I was actually surprised that Rozenstruik even stuffed a takedown, to be honest. But again, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if Almeida would have decided to strike with him, but that's taking too many chances. You don't need to do that when you know if you get a guy down, he's typically not going to be very good there. You can dot all your I's and cross all your T's all you want. You are a striker. You could only be so good on the ground with a guy that is great there. So again, this is another fight that, yeah, Almeida, he did what he needed to. He gets another win, but it doesn't prove a lot to us because Rozenstruik is a striker. He's not a grappler. And whether he's been taken down before, whether he's all this or that, whatever, it doesn't matter because Rozenstruik is not a grappler. He's not a jiu-jitsu guy. He's not going to be defending a whole crazy lot of takedowns. So it leaves a lot of questions with me for Jailton Almeida because we still haven't seen a whole lot. We've seen spurts that his cardio is weird at times, but he wins. We've seen at spurts that he doesn't tend to strike. When he gets in down positions, he typically lets it all go. So there's still some unanswered questions. This does not answer those questions to me. What this does answer for me, though, is to say that when there's a game plan, when there's a weakness in a fighter, this guy will go for it. He's not going to play that game, which I like. Again, honestly surprised that Rozenstruik even stuffed a takedown. And then the co-main event, Anthony Smith, Johnny Walker. I picked Anthony Smith to win. I thought he would be able to catch Johnny Walker, and he did. But Anthony Smith did not look good. He looked his physique anyways looked flat. He looked something was going on with him. Whether it was just trying to come back and do all those things, okay, fine, maybe. But Anthony Smith actually took his gloves off at the end when they raised Johnny Walker's hand for the decision. But even in the first, when he got dropped or he was getting beat up, and then he got the side control on Johnny Walker, Anthony Smith wasn't doing anything except holding that position. So Anthony Smith may be done. He might be retired. Walker stayed patient. He stayed way more patient than I thought he was going to fighting Anthony Smith, because Anthony Smith, especially in that first round, is a slower starter. He does tend to get hit. And that's where I thought Smith would make those adjustments and be able to hit Walker more than he gets hit. And Walker did a good job throwing his leg kicks, staying patient, picking his shots, and then going for it at times. He did jump over to talk to Jamal Hill. I don't think that fight goes any different. Maybe different-wise, it doesn't get finished in the first. I still like that fight a lot for Jamal Hill. But Johnny Walker, impressive. He looked good. I mean, you can't ask him to look much better than that. Maybe a little bit more activity, but he stayed poised. He stayed calm. He stayed defensive. Did get hit, was out of position sometimes to where I thought Smith could capitalize, but he didn't. But overall, Johnny Walker turned in a solid a solid performance. And then Ian Gary, Daniel Rodriguez, exactly what I talked about. Ian Gary, this stylistically is such a bad fight matchup for Daniel Rodriguez. I'm a huge fan of Rodriguez, but he kind of just marches forward and throws that left hand. Doesn't do a whole lot of combinations, nothing like that. And with a guy that is always trying to look to pull back and then, put his combinations out there or pull back and counter, it's a really bad matchup. And honestly, when Rodriguez realized, it seemed like he kind of realized his forward pressure wasn't working. He was just kind of standing still at a certain point, and Ian Gary threw that head kick up there. And it didn't look like it wobbled him per se, but it definitely looked like it took his equilibrium out. And yeah, Ian Gary looked good. He looked really good, and he called out Neil Magny. So that's a fun fight. And then Carlos Ulberg versus Eeyore. The length, how big Carlos is, and the way that Eeyore fights, kind of like the Ian Gary Rodriguez fight stylistically. It played out how I thought it was going to play out. And then Alex Morono versus Tim Means. Tim Means was doing a lot of good things. Morono was just creating chaos and caught Tim Means with the guillotine. Tim Means, I thought, was looking really, really good. I thought he would do a little bit more body work because he always flows better when he's going body head and then head body. He's always doing so much better when he's mixing in the combinations. But Morono pulled it out. He got a guillotine at the end of the second round, or 2 minutes of the second round. But again, Tim Means looked good. I don't really know where he goes from here because he's 38 years old. But it was a good fight. Still showed he could take a tremendous shot. And good fight for sure. And then Matt Brown versus Court McGee. I was expecting Court McGee to be able to grind on Matt because Matt in the past has had a lot of issues with those types of fighters. Takedowns, all these things. He did get taken down, but he got back up, worked his way up, and then caught Court as he was coming in with a walk-off KO. It was crazy. 42 years old and still and putting people out harder than he's put people out when he was younger. It's crazy. Like the walk-off KO when he did against Diego Lima. At least we could say on that one, Diego Lima, his chin's been in question long before that. Court McGee, he's only been finished by Santiago Ponzinibbio and Jeremiah Wells. Fighters who have crazy, crazy one-punch knockout power. And the one that Court McGee fought, the Santiago Court fought, was one of the best in that division of Santiago Ponzinibbio. So again, unbelievable victory from Matt Brown. Unbelievable. I can't freaking believe. And when he walked out, I had goosebumps. Oh my goodness. With the song choice and then Matt Brown's stoic walk down there. Unbelievable. True legend. Let me know what you guys thought about this main card. What do you think about that main event? What do you think the fighters should be matched up with next? Did you like the call out of Ian Gary calling out Neil Magny? Did you like Jamal Hill and Johnny Walker's confrontation? Let me know what you guys think. And as always, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment down below. Let's talk about it. How'd you guys do on your picks? As always, peace.